Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to set up your business to optimize its potential. How do you set your business up to maximize the profit that it makes for any given unit of hard work that you put in? How do you set your business up to maximize the cash flow that your business generates, and just to give it the lowest risk of failure and the best chance of success? So businesses typically over a 10-year period, 96% or 97% will fail. In the first year, at least half will fail. But these statistics are getting worse and worse and worse every year because it's getting easier and easier and more attractive for people to want to start businesses. You know, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. And most people, they just aren't cut out, they aren't cut out to run businesses. That's the harsh truth. Most people don't have what it takes. Most people can't deal with the levels of stress. Most people can't deal with the uncertainty and the anxiety that comes with running a business. But if you're determined and you've really decided that that's what you want to do, you don't want to work for anyone else, you want to work for yourself, but you just want to give yourself the best chance of success, then this video and this training will help you understand business in a way you've never really thought about it before. Buckle up, strap in, pay attention. This is something in terms of this model that I've been working on for 15 years probably in my head. I was part of a group coaching program which helped me get that model out of my head and into this kind of framework, or genius model as it's called. So I'm going to explain to you how I think about business and how it allows me, when I'm working with my clients at Grow Factor, to reduce the failure risk of my clients to basically 0%. In 11 years, we've never had a client's business fail because they've been operating this model. So let's say the perfect expert business where you're offering your expertise to a client is one that does three things. First of all, if you think about it like a triangle, the first side is financial mastery. You've mastered your finances. It's an area of confidence, it's an area of expertise that you have. You've got probably 9 out of 10 in that area of your business if you're going to rank it. Second one is taxes. So you are on top of your taxes. I'll loop back and explain how you can get good at each of these three. And then number 3 is strategy. You have a growth strategy and a strategic planning process that works. So when you started your business and you took on your first client, did you sit down? Probably not. And think, what's my plan in terms of mastering my finances, understanding and minimizing my taxes, and having a clear strategic planning process? I bet that never crossed your mind, right? But after today, that's the way that you can think about business. So what is financial mastery? Each of my 3 sides of my triangle, funnily enough, has 3 main component areas. So financial mastery is all about 3 things. It's understanding your finances and what I call financial intelligence. As a business owner, the higher you can get your financial intelligence, the less likely you are to fail. Because the scoreboard and the dashboards in business are the financial statements. And the only reason that your business will fail is at the end of the day, it's going to run out of cash. And the only reason that it would run out of cash without you realizing is that you don't have enough financial intelligence and financial understanding to look at the dashboards and know that this issue is coming down the road. So you need to have a high level of financial intelligence. Number 2, you need to do financial planning. So you need to set financial goals so you have a direction. Yes, you may end up far exceeding those goals. Yes, you may end up not hitting those goals, but at least you know what you're trying to achieve and ideally why you're trying to achieve it. So you might say, I've just started my business, but in a year's time, I want to have 50 clients paying me this much money for this level of service. This is why they're doing it. And that means per month, I'll be earning this much. To get those clients, I'm going to have to spend this much on these things. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be left with this much. You need to have that clarity of focus, both from a motivation perspective, but also from an accountability perspective. If you set financial goals and do financial planning, it allows us to compare our financial performance against our goals. If we're performing really well, we can look at why, what are the areas of the business and the activities that we're doing that are meaning we're doing so well. How do we double down on those, or how do we make them more consistent? What are the areas, if we're under plan, that we're not performing well on? What are the stages of our marketing funnel that aren't working? Okay, the more financial planning that you do, and the more analysis of your numbers, the easier it's going to be to fix any problem, because you'll know exactly where it comes from. Okay, and the third component, so we've got financial intelligence, financial planning and goals. The third component is, which makes all of it possible, having the right systems and processes in place. So all this means is that, I'll shoot another video of this on this in the future, but you need to have cloud accounting. So my recommended software solution is Xero, Xero. You want to have some form of receipt management system, even if you live in Dubai and you don't have to pay taxes and you don't have to keep your receipts. My recommendation is to get into good habits and good practice, because even in Dubai, they're going to bring in taxes at some point. Also, if you process all of your receipts into Xero and match those with the bank statement lines that they relate to, you have one place if you ever want to come back and see the receipt. If you need to take something back to the shop or the store, you can go into Xero and just look it up and just find it, get the PDF done. You have really good, high quality record keeping system. If you ever have an audit, or if you are paying taxes and let's say you're in the UK, HMRC have an investigation, you can get rid of them so quickly because you've got all of the backups for everything. Okay, so the right systems and making sure that they're being set up correctly. So are you using custom account codes that suit your business, or are you just using the standard account codes that Xero gives you? If you're selling one-to-one coaching, group coaching, and retreats, when you look at your financial statements, it should say income from one-to-one coaching, group programs, and retreats, right? It sounds simple, but so many people just lump everything into sales. You don't have the level of detail that you need to understand your finances, so use custom account codes. Then have an external finance team keeping your books up to date every single week, because most people, they get Xero, they get online accounting, and then they don't actually keep it up to date until the end of the quarter, until they need to file taxes. Or even worse, if they're living in a tax-free zone, they don't even have Xero, they don't have anything. And then you're left trying to run a business looking at a bank statement balance. Is it going up? Is it going down? That just doesn't tell you anything. Your bank statement balance could be climbing and you could think everything's okay, but there's a massive risk and a massive issue coming around the corner. I can't count hundreds of people I've probably spoken to over the last 10 years where their businesses have failed, haven't been growth out to clients because they thought everything was great because their bank balance was going up, and then a big bill came in, or a big tax bill, or a big, even if you're not paying tax, a big commercial bill, or something changed in their business and their sales dipped down. They just weren't planning. They weren't looking at their finances. So you cannot run a business without these three things: the right systems and processes to keep your numbers up to date and accurate, the right finance team to support you, having the right level of financial intelligence, which does take time. Okay, you need to improve that over time by studying the financial statements, having a great accountant that you can have a relationship with, and every time you're talking to them, you're learning. And then having financial goals and being able to measure your progress against those goals. So those are three areas. So ask yourself, like, where are you really good? Where do you need to maybe step up? Do you need to look at changing your systems? Those kind of things. So second area of the triangle is tax. Now tax, the biggest issue with tax is that, let's just assume for this part of the video that you're a UK, doesn't matter whether you're US or you're in Europe, same principle, but you're a UK based taxpayer, so you pay taxes. Your goal is to minimize your taxes so that you can maximize your cash flow without breaking any HMRC rules or regulations, just using the deductions that they have in place. 99%, if not actually 100% now, of the accounts that we do second opinions on. So I have a business with Tony Robbins. One of the things that people who get to go to Business Mastery have the opportunity to bring their accounts, now virtually, but it used to be we had a physical event, we had a physical booth, we'd sit there. They'd bring their accounts, sometimes paper copies, and we'd have 10 or 15 minutes in between breaks to have a look through the accounts, have a look through the tax return, have a look through the personal tax return, and find out where this person was overpaying tax. So we became really good really quickly at following a 7-step process to look at underclaimed expenses, to look at reliefs that were available to this client that hadn't been claimed. And in all cases, we would find overpaid tax. The average was between £5,000 and £50,000. But why is that? Usually what will happen in an accountancy firm, I'll let you in on a little secret, is your accountant may even be a chartered accountant like me, but they're not tax qualified. So a junior will prepare the accounts, a senior accountant will have a quick review over the accounts for 5 or 10 minutes, and then they'll send them to you. You might go back and say, hey, have you done everything you can to minimize my taxes? And they have another quick look and they say, yeah, they're good to go. But here's what should happen. They should get prepared by a chartered accountant. They should have gone through 2 or 3 stage review. Then they should get given to someone who has tax qualifications, who does a proper and thorough review. And then if you're a big enough business, they should also go through a piece of software which uses artificial intelligence. You have a meeting with your accountant where they ask you a number of questions. They put the answers into this software. And between the chartered tax advisor and the software, a report is generated to identify whether there are any areas where you could save tax that you're missing. Because the tax legislation literally changes, guys, on a daily or weekly basis. So how is it ever going to be satisfactory to just shoot a quick review for 10 or 15 minutes and say, send it out the door? That's why almost all businesses that we see are overpaying tax. So the 3 principles of tax are: understand global tax planning. This is a big one in the health and fitness industry. Understand if there's actually a benefit of moving your UK company to Dubai, for example, if you're not going to live in the UK. Is there a benefit? Are you doing it in the right way? But do you understand the opportunities that are there for global tax planning? Second part is maximizing your deductions. That's just understanding what are the 10 most commonly missed deductions. Are you claiming for these deductions? Are you claiming in the right proportions? Have you set your business up in the right way? So you've got a business credit card, a business account, you're primarily using that for all of your business expenses. Only the personal account gets used for personal items. And then having a tax planning strategy, which is kind of like, look, you need to be speaking to your accountant and having dialogue as to what's happening in the short and long term. They need to be asking you about your relationship status. Do you have kids? Are you going to send them to private school? Do you have family members that could be involved in the business? Who's on your payroll? What are your plans for the future? Do you want to live in the UK? There's probably 50, 60 different questions that should be getting asked and updated every single year. That allows us as accountants to create a tax plan that lists out your tax strategy. We're not trying to cheat HMRC out of tax. We're just looking to pay the correct amount of tax. Okay, so maximizing your deductions, understanding global tax planning, and having a tax strategy. And then the third part of our triangle is strategy, is strategic planning. Okay, and this is all about really 3 areas when you scale your business. One is leverage. So if you're just on your own right now, you only need to really get to 4 or 5K a month, and you should be thinking about hiring your first team member. And then do you have a system in place to leverage to them? Not just give them stuff and say, come back when it's done, but leverage and manage and motivate and monitor and encourage and reward team members. Okay, so as a CEO, you'll very quickly get to the point where you don't have time to do everything. Also, you're not the best person to do these things. I'm definitely not the best person to take this video, to edit it, to make sure that the audio is correct. At the moment, I can see that my audio is only coming out of one channel on the left, to fix any lighting issues. to crop out any elements that aren't quite right, and to actually be a qualified videographer. Like, I'm not the best person to do that, so I'd hire someone to do it. Yes, at the start of your business, there are certain things that you're going to have to do which aren't your core competency. But as soon as you are able to financially, and again, reference back to your financial plan, when your financial plan says, now you can afford to hire this person, and you've had that conversation with your advisor, you're hiring and you're leveraging, and you have a system to leverage team members. Okay, that's part number one. Part number two is operations. How good are you at operating this business effectively? Like, do you actually understand how to run a business, or do you need training in certain areas of a business? A business has like 8 core areas, really: sales, marketing. Well, this is how I split my business up: sales, marketing, my own learning and personal development, leadership and management, content creation. What are the other areas? Working with clients, doing client work, financial and legal mastery, and so on and so forth. If you really want to know what the areas are, just comment below on this video and I will let you know exactly what the business areas are that I've split my business up into. Do you need to increase your skills in operating this business, or do you need to bring in people in certain areas of the business? It's like, how effective are you at operating a business? Now, the biggest way you can get better is to learn. Like, for the first 10 years, and even now, I try and do at least half an hour of reading a day. As you can see, there are various books in the background. Mostly now I have these, the background looks nice, and I use Audible on my phone. Every time I'm walking the dog, every time I'm driving to the gym, I'm listening to Audible. I'm trying to increase my intelligence around a certain area of my business. I'm trying to pick my own chapters of my own MBA and build my own skills. And the third area, the most important area, is strategic planning. I shot a video on this when I talked about the one-page business plan and meeting the Growth Factor team. We run all of our clients at Growth Factor through a one-page business planning process. This plan gets updated on a monthly basis. It's a fluid plan. It's not something you fill out and then it becomes, outdated as soon as what you want to do in your business changes. It's really important for me that you may be super busy 4 days a week or 4.5 days a week working in your business, delivering on clients, doing check-ins, doing face-to-face PT, working on client projects, whatever it might be. Even if you've only got half a day of that on the business time, what are you doing with that time? Now, if you have a business plan that has 10-year goals, 5, 3, 1-year goals, and 90-day goals, we have a one-page business planning process. Everything is on there: your vision, your values, your brand promise, your financial goals, your headcount at each area, how much you want to work in the business and on the business, how many hours are you putting in, what are you earning. All of your goals are on one page. And you can just go on YouTube and look up what's the benefit of having goals, or what's the benefit of having a vision board, or what's the benefit of having these other things. But if you've got an A4 page, kind of like this size, and you stick it up on your wall, okay, I have a pin board on the other side of this camera, but you stick it up on your wall, how beneficial is it going to be for you to come into your office every day and see your goals and review them before you decide, what actions am I going to take that day? It will massively change what your brain determines as important and what your brain pops up as task items for that day if you just review your business plan before you do anything on a daily basis.